They are the largest freshwater ecosystem in the world, but the Great Lakes are facing a great threat. The warmer than normal winter many of us enjoyed in southern Ontario has resulted in record low ice cover. This is usually the time of year that this peaks. Usually about 40% of those lakes are covered in ice. Right now, a tenth of that, 4% of the surface is frozen. Joining me with more is Mike McKay. He is the director of the Great Lakes Institute for Environmental Research at the University of Windsor, which of course is right on the Great Lakes. So why does it matter? I mean, most people were not fish, so why do we care if the Great Lakes aren't covered in the winter?
Well, good morning, Dan, and it's really nice joining you today. I'd like to say this is really unprecedented, but the fact is we're seeing this condition with increased frequency. In fact, 3 of the past 5 winters in the lower Great Lakes have been either ice-free or have seen only fleeting ice cover. And the ice cover actually provides a lot of protection to our shorelines. Without that ice cover, we've got increased erosion on shorelines. Folks living in the Lake Huron Basin, Lake Erie will see that, bluffs eroding with that lack of ice cover. More lake effect snow during the winter without ice cover. And loss of recreational opportunities. A lot of communities in the Great Lakes Basin depend on winter recreation for their economies, and we're just not seeing those opportunities this year.
Can you break that down a little bit? You mentioned the lake effect snow, and when I was talking to Kelsey about this before I spoke with you, to her, that was the big part of this story, is the fact that ice normally is serving a role we sort of take for granted. Can you break that down as to how that affects the weather?
Right. So essentially, where the Great Lakes are located in the latitudes where the westerly winds predominate, westerly winds sweeping over the lakes and picking up moisture and dropping that on the far side of the lake. So most of your audience will be familiar with the lake effect snow places like Buffalo receive, or Cleveland. Within Ontario, we have a number of locations that see lake effect snow. London, Ontario picks up lake effect snow from Lake Huron. So we see this continue throughout the winter if there's no ice cover.
So this year has been exceptionally warm in southern Ontario, but maximum ice coverage has been decreasing year over year by about 5% a decade, according to the National Oceanic Atmospheric Association. So as a result, the lakes are getting warmer faster. What does that mean as we enter the spring and the summer?
As we enter the spring and summer, we start seeing a preferential warming of the surface waters. We will get a condition known as stratification, where we have 2 layers of water, a warmer upper surface layer and a colder deeper layer. And what that will do is we'll set conditions to allow algal blooms, often dominated by blue-green algae or cyanobacteria, to persist longer into the year. We are very familiar with these blooms in western Lake Erie, as you're seeing on the screen right now. The blooms typically start covering the surface of the western basin of the lake in July and may extend until September, October. The concern is we may start seeing these even earlier. And these blooms will produce toxins. These toxins are hepatotoxins or liver toxins, and have to be treated by water utilities. So that'll increase costs to municipalities and also pose risk for recreational use of the lakes.
Thanks so much, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.